Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Daniel Landsman, and welcome to day 21 of 50 Days of Data. Appreciate you guys watching my other stuff. If you haven't checked it out, please click the links to the side of this video and see what we've been talking about up to this point. Today, we're going to be talking about data strategy. And the reason that I want to talk about this today is just because I've been reviewing a ton of different companies that ingest data, put data together, and figure out how to leverage that data, whether it be through tag management or different APIs with push-pull calls, or storing it in data lakes and chopping it up into little pieces, and then figuring out how to best ingest it, or using a real-time platform to do all that kind of stuff. And all of those different types of integrations and data pulls are all incorporating different methodologies. And we've talked about before, like how to best use the data for your business in certain respects, but I want this to try to be a more overarching conversation again, to best figure out what's right for you. How can you best leverage data for your particular use case? Or if you're an individual, what can you do? I mean, there's movements like quantified self, where you can track how many steps you take with a Fitbit or some other type of thing. There's sleep devices that register what your sleep patterns are. And there's other apps on your phone that can basically pull your mood. For businesses, you have tons and tons and tons of different things that monitor your infrastructure to make sure that your data is healthy and coming through the pipes okay and nothing is broken on the IT side. You also have different platforms that pull in retail data or sales data, or engagement data for your employees. But this isn't supposed to be about the actual platforms that you use. It's just about trying to think about how do you use that data effectively. So if I know people hate my company and they hate me as CEO, for instance, how am I going to use that data to change it? Well, you could ask them for feedback, but they might not give it to you because their incentives are not aligned properly with giving you real feedback. Very, very few employees will give you 100% honest feedback because you're their boss and they want a job. So, what can you do in order to align the incentives properly to leverage the data appropriately for whatever the use case is? So, let's say that you're an oil tanker company and there was a massive oil spill, and you are cleaning up that oil spill. The general public hates you. You have your PR firm all over it, and you're getting data in that's just saying your goodwill is tanking. That actually negatively affects your stock price, because goodwill is a part of your enterprise value. And what can you do with that data, from that particular use case? Well, it's kind of obvious. You need to do something proactive. Maybe it's you give subsidies to the fishermen, like BP did back in the day when they had a massive oil spill. Or you figure out how to fund the cleanup efforts, and try to make it so that that data is leveraged appropriately. I think that there's so many different places where data is coming in. Also, you have to figure out what's the highest leverage piece of data. So it's kind of like the Pareto rule of 80-20, right? So Pareto was, an Italian economist, and he basically said 20% of what you do gives you 80% of the results. So figure out what 20% of the data is going to give you that 80% of the results, and then focus more on that portion of the data. Because if you are not focused on the most important things with the data, then how can you actually make the best decisions off of that data? So, from my personal career, I can tell you I've always instructed my team to look for the highest value thing first. And I actually gave them a threshold of caring. And I would say to my team verbatim, hey, if it's below X value, I just don't care. It's not worth my time. It needs to be above Y value in order for me to care. Here's why, go figure it out. And it was enabling them to get a sense as to where I'm coming from, but also help them leverage their time more effectively so we can be more effective as a team. There's not enough of that going on from my perspective. A lot of people need some more guidance. You can't just give high level instruction, and having a data strategy overarching throughout the companies with the proper internal controls and the proper people pushing on the biggest leverage things, it will get you to wherever you want to be faster. So you need to have good operators in place who understand how to leverage the technology at their disposal in order to make the best moves forward for your business that you can. From a personal perspective, if you're not familiar with a ton of data stuff, definitely train yourself up. Data is the future. Data is the new oil. Data is the new gold. However you want to say it, automation is coming. Your job might be destroyed. And if you can be a controller of that data, you should theoretically be in a good place. So hopefully this video made you guys think. My goal here is just to help and provide a little bit of insight to the data economy and how all this stuff works. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate all the support that I've gotten so far. Feel free to reach out to me on whatever platform channel you feel is useful. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.